I must say, if you look at some of the allegations being made by U.S. and State Department linked accounts about China, they are like the slightest rumors. The slightest rumors. Unsubstantiated, weird estimates, just weird estimates, and they are amplified. They are amplified by anti-China fanatics like the folks at Epoch Times. And they can't confirm that more people died. They can't confirm that, but they just are trying to take any slight rumor and amplify it. Now, is it possible that the number of dead? I mean, there's more people dead than has officially been said. Of course, it's possible, right? And it's we don't know at this time, right? We don't know all the details, but I am disturbed to see that there are so many voices linked to anti-China fanaticism in the United States. Again, they will publish the slightest rumor, the slightest speculation. And if someone was doing that in the United States, we would probably say it's a public health concern. If I were to look outside and say, okay, so based on the fact that outside my window here, I have only seen 3 people on bicycles today, and I tracked the number, and it's much lower than the number of people on bicycles that I would normally see. Based on the fact that there was less sales at the supermarket, even though people are still eating, even though they're sheltered in place, I'm arguing the U.S. government has completely fudged the numbers. And if I said something like that, and I don't say anything like that, because I would have no real basis for claiming it. And there's a lot of tweets like this. There's a lot of articles like this. Where it's pure speculation based on the loosest. They don't know what they're talking about, but they are determined. Mike Pompeo is determined. Peter Navarro is determined. They are determined to use this to amp up pressure against China. They're determined to do that. They see this crisis not as a moment for global unity to defeat a deadly disease, but as an opportunity to, stick it to their geopolitical rivals. That's why they're sending those warships to Venezuela and accusing Maduro of being a narco-terrorist drug dealer. That's why they've amplified the sanctions on Iran. That's why the Saudis in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia are bombing healthcare clinics, right? This is a war crime. Look at it in Hodeidah, the city of Hodeidah in Yemen. The Saudis have been attacking healthcare facilities, hoping that more people will die of COVID-19 as they wage their ruthless, relentless criminal war against Yemen, right? Iranians. Iran is not able to get the medical supplies it needs. This is criminal, right? We saw with Alibaba, how Alibaba and Cuba were working together to try and get medical supplies, and they had to kill their deal because of U.S. sanctions. These sanctions are criminal. They are killing people. If you prevent people from getting medical aid, that's a war crime, right? Nuremberg standards, international law. You're not allowed to kill medics in a war, right? You're not allowed to attack civilian healthcare facilities. That's what's being done with economic warfare by U.S. sanctions, by Saudi direct airstrikes. They are committing war crimes. They are committing violations of international law, preventing people from getting medical assistance. Not just people, but civilians. When you actively prevent civilians from getting medical care, that is a crime against humanity, right? That's the kind of thing that they drag people to The Hague for. That's what the International Criminal Court is supposed to be handling. The International Criminal Court, it's like 66 people have been convicted. I believe every single one of them has been African. Right? Now, before the International Criminal Court, you had the International Tribunal on Yugoslavia, obviously not Africans. But the International Criminal Court, right, only seems to enforce its justice against Africans. Look for one single case, the International Criminal Court, where someone's been tried and convicted, and they weren't African. It's like you can only commit crimes against humanity if you are an African. It's pretty ridiculous. It's not ridiculous. It's not funny. It's absurd. It's offensive. It's disgusting. Right now, the United States is committing a crime against humanity by preventing people from getting medical care, by enabling Saudi Arabia to bomb healthcare clinics as they're doing, by, amplifying sanctions and making it harder for countries to get healthcare, countries like Cuba, countries like Venezuela. By doing that, And by doing that, U.S. leaders are violating international law and they're committing a crime against humanity. And there was a joint letter from the UN mission of Venezuela, of Nicaragua, of Cuba, of Russia, of China, of Venezuela, of Iran, and Syria, right? I hope I'm not missing any country there, but it was a joint letter urging the UN to step in and tell the United States to cut this out. Cut it out. And it was not passed. The European Union and other countries at the UN General Assembly voted it down, right? This resolution. I'm disappointed to see that because it's unacceptable. It is unacceptable to be using this crisis for your own ends, but to be hoping that more people die. And it's putting more lives in danger. I mean, it puts more lives in danger. This virus crosses borders, right? No one asks the virus for a passport, right? It crosses borders. We need to get it under control globally. We shouldn't have a strategy of, well, let's control it over here, but hope it gets out of control over there. That's not an effective strategy, right? It needs to be gone after. There needs to be international cooperation against this virus. Must be done. Absolutely must be done.